I'm Sam Watford. I live from Thomasville, District 80 of Davidson County, which is the eastern side of Davidson County. I live in the Fairgrove community. I'm raised on a farm, still live on the farm where my great-grandfather lived on. I got into politics or government in the 90s, served 2 terms on the zoning board, and afterwards was elected to a county commissioner and served 3 terms as a county commissioner. And now I'm fortunate to be serving representing House District 80 in Davidson County in the House of Representatives. I've not set any priorities as far as legislation goes because I felt like this should be a learning time for me to learn the process, to learn what's involved. But I have become involved in a few issues having to do with, I'm a contractor by trade, a pipeline contractor and a plumbing contractor, and do some building, have done some building, and so I'm familiar with the building codes, and so I've been working with the home builders and with some legislators and some legislation about that, and I've been working with some other legislators about the MAP Act and the way that and I say we because when I raise my right hand, it's first person with me. The way that we acquire property, have drawn maps for property as far back as 2006 or 7, and for all these years, it's negatively affected those property owners and their families and their lives, economically, physically, emotionally, anyway. And this is 2015, and we still haven't acquired that property. So we're going to try. Hopefully, in my time down here, we're going to change that process to where that when you decide to build, we decide to build a road somewhere, we'll map it out, do the engineering, buy the property. Let's get that behind the people in the neighborhoods and all the families that it affects. Anytime you put in a new road anywhere, or railroad or anything, it affects a lot of people. John Hardister out of Guilford County came to me with that, and he presented it to me what his thoughts were, and then I've heard other things about it and other ideas, and you got to look at it from the Republican side. We always thought that it was a great thing to change the process before we were in control, or the controlling party, and so I can see it now the other way. You know, you have a tendency to want to have a little bit. It operated this way for 100 years. Let's wait 100 years and then worry about how we're going to fix it. You see what I mean? But I co-sponsored John's bill. It wasn't a perfect fix. It wouldn't have fixed it exactly like but it did. It creates an independent commission, and I think it definitely needs some reform. You're still going to be tied to the federal laws, and a lot of the laws that are in I looked at the statutes that we have now about how it's pretty good the way that they do it, in the way everything has to be. If you can stay on the county line, you stay on the county line, and things like that. But you can look at them and tell that they're still kind of drawn party sensitive, and I'm not that familiar with it. Like I say, this is still a big learning process for me. So, but I can see definitely some need for some change, and I don't see some of them. I noticed one bill had it put out to something like 2030. Well, you know, John's bill was before 2020 anyway. So, something I can see time for a little bit of change before 2020 when we could do things. Let's be a little more fair about it. Let's stick with some geographic lines, is try to stay with our county lines and our city boundaries and whatever. Do it, and just where it's described. You look at some of and I've got the map of the districts up there and how they're all, you know, I can see I'm open for some change. I'll say that, I really am. Yeah.